Today I want to share with you guys one of my favorite meal prep secrets. It's a way where I can make an endless amount of meals with just using 4 recipes, and it takes me less than an hour to make these. The secret is in the sauce. That's right, we're making sauces today. I love making keto approved sauces because it's a way that you could up level your proteins or vegetables and have a completely different dish. A lot of times we get bored with the same steak or hamburger or chicken, and so adding a different type of sauce can make it more interesting and more flavorful. So today I'm going to share with you guys 4 of my favorite keto sauce recipes, and they can be paired with any protein or vegetable. And I want to pair these sauces with proteins that I get from today's sponsor, which is Crowd Cow. Crowd Cow is a marketplace for high quality meats that creates meaningful connections between the farmer and the customer, so people can know and appreciate where their food comes from and know that it's high quality. And believe me, you can taste that it's high quality. How does it work? Well, you get to build your own box. You can explore on their website and shop around with different high quality beef, pork, chicken, seafood, and so much more. Like, I picked up a package of wild boar. I've never had wild boar before, but I thought it sounded exciting. Since I was making 4 sauces, I decided to get some flat iron steak for my chimichurri sauce, chicken thighs to go with my curry, Wagyu ground beef for my mole sauce, and for my Romesco sauce, I'm using chicken breast. All of the meat that comes from Crowd Cow does not have any hormones or any unnecessary antibiotics. So you can buy meat that's grass-fed, pasture-raised, or wild-caught. If you guys want to try Crowd Cow, then just click on the link in my description box. It's crowdcow.com/KetoFocus, and you can get $15 off your first order plus a free membership. And when you become a member, you also get an additional 5% off everything you put in your box. And if that's not enough, Crowd Cow is actually putting free items in the boxes of new members. This is only a limited time, so make sure you click on that link down below. Now let's move on to our first sauce that I'm going to show you how to make, which is a chimichurri sauce. I love chimichurri with my steak, any type of steak. It is so good on it. It's a mixture of olive oil, or you could use avocado oil like I do, parsley, cilantro, oregano, garlic is in there too, and I add a little dash of red pepper flakes. And it is so simple to make. You can make up a big batch of it and then pour it on all of your proteins throughout the week. This works really good with chicken and fish as well. I'm going to add all my ingredients to a food processor. I have 1/2 cup of parsley, 1/2 cup of cilantro. I've already chopped these up into smaller chunks. So you didn't really have to do this if they're going into a food processor. I just did it. I really don't know why I did it. I just did it. So if you want to not use a food processor and just mince up everything into really tiny chunks, then you can just stir it together. But I'm cutting everything into tiny chunks and processing it, mostly because I want to make sure that oil and vinegar gets mixed up together. And then we'll need 4 teaspoons of chopped fresh oregano. If you wanted to use dried oregano, then I'd probably just use like maybe 1.5 teaspoons or 2 teaspoons. And then we're gonna need 8 cloves of garlic. I've already minced up my garlic, but once again, you could just pop 8 cloves right in there. 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. If you didn't want to use apple cider vinegar, you could use red wine vinegar or white wine vinegar will work. And then 1 cup of avocado oil. Once again, like I mentioned, you could use olive oil. 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes for some spice. We're gonna pulse this together until everything is pureed and mixed up, and then your sauce is done. You can store this in a freezer safe container. You could freeze it. You can just store it in the refrigerator. If you freeze it, you will have to unthaw it at room temperature or in your refrigerator, just because it's gonna be solid with those oils. Ideally, you do wanna let this sauce sit for maybe around an hour just to give it time for those flavors to really meld together and mix together within the oil. And once again, I like to pour this over steak, like that delicious flat iron steak. Up next, let's make some chicken curry. I've already shown you guys how to make my curry sauce. If you guys haven't seen that video, click up here. It's a really good one. And always on all these recipes, I'll have the full recipe linked down below in the description box. To make this curry sauce, we're gonna take 1 full can of unsweetened full-fat coconut milk and add it to a saucepan. You wanna heat that to a boil and continue to heat it until it's reduced by like maybe around 1/3. Then we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of curry paste. You could either use the red curry or the green curry paste. Stir that together until it's smooth. Then we're gonna add in 1 more can of coconut milk. Bring it to a boil and continue to let it simmer until the sauce is reduced. It'll take around 5 to 10 minutes. At this point, we're gonna add in a little bit more flavor. I'm gonna put in a teaspoon of fish sauce, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of lime juice, and then some of my vegetables. I'm gonna be using zucchini and sliced up bell pepper, but you could either not use vegetables if you don't want to, or add in your favorites. Now that your sauce is done, you can store this in a freezer-safe container or a Ziploc bag and store it in the freezer, or just keep it in your fridge until you're ready to use it. I like to pair this with chicken thighs, so I'm using those chicken thighs that I got from Crowd Cow. But besides chicken, this would be excellent just either as a vegetarian meal without any protein, or you can maybe add some seafood like some shrimp. Next up, let's make some Romesco chicken. So I love Romesco sauce. If you guys haven't had it before, it's like a combination, it's like nutty and there's tomatoes and chilies in there. It is so good. It's really nutty though. That's my favorite part about it. And it's really easy to make. You can pair it with chicken like I'm gonna do, or just put it on top of vegetables like asparagus. It would even be good with seafood or even some beef. Ooh, and pork would be really good with it too. We're gonna start by pan roasting some sliced almonds. You could do this in an oven too. I'm just using a nonstick skillet. I have 1 cup of sliced almonds. I've just spread them out. I'm gonna cook them until they're kind of golden brown. This will just help develop that nutty flavor. Once they're golden brown, we'll remove them from the heat, and now it's time to assemble our sauce. So in the world's smallest food processor, I'm gonna be adding my almonds inside. You'll also need 2/3 cup of roasted red bell peppers. I just get these from the jar from the supermarket, and I've cut them up into small chunks. Once again, you're gonna be pureeing this, so you don't really need to cut them up into small chunks, but I did. And then you'll need 2/3 cup of halved grape tomatoes. These are just grape tomatoes cut in half. 1/2 cup of parsley, 2 cloves of garlic, and 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Oh, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt too, just to add some flavor. 1/4 cup of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of sherry vinegar. You could use red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar too. Puree this until it's smooth. You could add more oil if you feel like it's necessary. And that's it. You just store it in the refrigerator for up to like 5 to 7 days. You could probably freeze this too if you needed to. Now this recipe is different than a traditional Romesco sauce. This is just an adaptation for ingredients that you would find at your grocery store. Our next sauce recipe is gonna be a mole sauce. This can be paired with any protein from pork, chicken, beef, I guess you could probably do shrimp too, that would be fine. But I'm gonna use some Wagyu ground beef that I'm pairing this with and pouring it over cauliflower rice. We're gonna start by adding 2 tablespoons of avocado oil to a large skillet, and then add in 3 tablespoons of minced up garlic, a tablespoon of chili powder, and our spices, we have 1/2 teaspoon of cumin and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You want to stir that for around 30 seconds. This will help just get those spices to bloom and the flavor to come out. Then we're going to add in 1/2 cup of tomato sauce, 1/2 cup of chicken broth. For some spice, this is optional, but I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of the adobe pepper sauce. And then for that mole taste, I'm gonna add in 1/4 cup of sugar-free chocolate chips. I'll have my favorite listed down below in the description box for you, along with a tablespoon of almond butter. And then just season it with 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You wanna reduce the heat to a medium-low and continue cooking this until the sauce is thickened. It'll take around 3 minutes to do. Then I like to mix in my cooked ground beef and once again pour it over cauliflower rice. This sauce does freeze really well, so you could add it to a freezer safe container or a Ziploc bag. Pop it in the freezer for whenever you want to eat it. Well, I hope this gave you guys some ideas of how you can jazz up all of your meats and your veggies and stay keto and make different meals every single night, which is super key to staying consistent and being successful on this diet. Once again, big thanks to Crowd Cow for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to click on that information down below in the description box if you want to try them.